Alright everyone, here we are with ticker symbol NIO, NIO Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all the first time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel. Invest for tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back. And before we jump into this chart, I do want to announce to all investors the launch of my website. I just started it last week, investfortomorrow.com. I will put the link down below in the description. There is an intro video that can give you the forward outlook and purpose of the website. We also have the forums pages where you'll have access to these once you become a member, such as the stock picks forum, daily watch list, gathering of investors, and how to manage the intangible, as well as the member options where you have to choose one of them to gain access to the forums and everything that the website has to offer. And on the bottom of each one, you can see what each one gives you access to. Now, I do want you guys to be aware that it is optional and this is just additional content to the website on here, and the YouTube will continue the same. So I want everyone to be aware of that. But I did want to announce it for those of you that have stopped by to check it out. Thank you guys so much. And also those of you that have created an account, just still haven't chosen which member option will work for you. That's fine whenever you guys are ready. And I want to say thank you to those of you that have joined, and I look forward to those of you that do consider joining or even stopping by to check it out. So I encourage you guys to see what it all has to offer. So here we are with NIO, and I'm doing this analysis a little bit more than just looking at the chart. I want us to look at some different things, and I'm actually zooming out, and a lot of people have been asking the possible head and shoulders that has been forming, and when you look at it, it kind of has leveled off in this area that I keep mentioning, but I see it like working its way down to newer lows every single time, and that's right now making it quite a concern. When you just draw a line and you go in this direction, I mean, we're hitting newer lows every time. It looks like it's consolidating, right, up and down, but it has to go back up now. If it doesn't do that and it continues this downward trend and then it picks back up slightly and then continues this downward trend, we might be going in this direction. Now, I pulled up different analysis here and different price targets from different sources, and they're all kind of different. Like, they're all leading in different directions. The wildest one is CNN, and I don't know how you guys feel about it. We're gonna look at it on CNN Money, but man, their analysis is wild. I mean, if it is true, then it's gonna be good news for everyone and so forth. But this is having a slight pullback here, and it's good that it's holding itself up above $38, but it's getting closer every time. So what I'm seeing here is that's a concern, and I would tell every investor to pay close attention to, is the fact that if this actually pulls back up, does it pull back up and break even up here and kind of hold itself back up, or will it pull back slightly, right? Not even close to yesterday's support throughout, the beginning of next week, the first couple of days, and then it comes back down to a newer low. If it does that, and then it actually does this again, and then it goes back down to a newer low, that's just almost like, if you're not paying close attention to these ups and downs on the broader spectrum of things, it can actually fog up your concentration on noticing that this has been going down since that peak, and it is looking like the effect of a head and shoulders that has slightly formed here, right? If you kind of just take this out of the picture, just kind of everything before this point, right? Everything before that point in this direction, just kind of not look at it. And if we just focus on everything that's going on here. So we have to see this closely. I'm seeing it hold above $38 so far, so it doesn't raise a red flag to me, but it looks like it's going in just that downward direction. It looks like it pulls back up, comes back down, pulls back up, comes back down, pulled slightly back up, and now down again, hitting a newer low. So the question is, will it do that again and pull down to a newer low and get close to $38? And after $38, will it have a slight pullback and then now see a new low? Once that happens, we are on our way to newer lows, and we're going to look at some of these analysis. The worst analysis I've seen is in the 20s. A lot of people have talked about that. Let's see it for ourselves, and I would love to see your guys' opinion and outlook on this. How do you feel about it? Do you think that if this was to go to newer lows, it's starting to become a discount, or is it going to newer lows and it's going to stay down there? That's the main question. So I look forward to seeing your guys' conversations down below, your comments and thoughts, and how do you feel? And are you long on this one, or do you think that it's almost time for you to take profits if you got in early, or is it time for you to kind of cut losses if you got in a little bit later and you think about probably getting into this one later on? So I look forward to seeing everybody's perspective down below and what you guys think about these price targets. So the first one here is tip ranks. I like to use this one a lot, and it's showing right now based off of where it's at, it's going to go up to 49.01, which it touched that already. That's a reasonable midway point. And 7 are saying out of the total 11 Wall Street analysis, 7 are saying a buy, 4 are saying a hold. No one is saying sell. But it's saying that this could go on its way down to $30 in the 12-month forecast. That's the worst case scenario. Or it could touch that at some point. 49 is the midway point, and 60 seems reasonable to me when I see it there. Now the next one, I'm going to jump to this one. This is here at Market Beat, and you can see that it's showing it's a hold based off of today, but they're saying that it's going in the downside by 31% from where it's at right now. They're saying about $28.69. That's the 12-month forecast, and right now there's a 1 sell rating, 5 hold, and 6 are saying buy. I was also looking at where the institutional ownerships were right now. A lot of it has been bought throughout the years up to this point, and a lot of buying was going on earlier in the year. And this last quarter, a lot more buying has happened and a lot less selling. You could see that the selling were in the 100 millions, right? And 500, 300, and now this quarter it's only been 69 million, and 1.12 billion have bought. So it's the highest time that the buying has happened since quarter one, and the lowest in selling. So I'm not sure where they're getting these price targets from, and what's causing these price targets to even be mentioned. So here we have CNN. And they are the wildest with their forecasts. I mean, they are pretty impressive with it. So NIO has been year to date almost 1,000 plus. I mean, it hit 1,000 plus, but right now it's at 942, like 942%, not 942, but 942% change from year to date. That's impressive. But they're trying to add another 800 on their high end, 600% on their mid end, and their low end 150 from where it's at right now. So from 41.89, which was the most recent price, I mean, that's where it's at right now, and it's a little bit delayed, but that's the price that they're showing, which is pretty accurate to where we were at, or where we're at with NIO right now. And basically they're all saying it's going to go up by, on this one, almost 3 or 2 if you want to call it, and a half. And then you have here the median almost times 6, and then you got times 8 way up here. These are some big price targets. Are they possible? I wouldn't say just in 12 months, but I think in the long term, if the company continues the innovation and the way they're doing things, it's all possible. All of it's possible. I think 60 is within reason right now, but the stock right now is showing some different indications in the chart, and that's what is really interesting. When you look at it here, just in lines, you wouldn't even notice it's a head and shoulders. It just looks like there was a peak. It's kind of like tried holding itself up, and it's just falling, right? And this is where you can actually see that up, down, up, down, up, down movement, that every time it goes up, it seems like there's a recovery, and it seems like it's kind of going in a sideways direction a little bit. But here in the lines just itself, you could see that it's actually pulling itself down. It's just going in that downward direction. Once you pick that 1 month, you can just see it's going down, which is the same thing I'm seeing in the charts. But I wanted to go over these price targets with you guys. I want to see what your guys' thinks are, right? Your thoughts are, not thinks, your thoughts. And I mean, CNN is the wildest with it, and I think this is a little bit more reasonable. I mean, CNN could be completely correct, don't get me wrong, but I like to be more conservative about things. This seems within reason. If it passes these numbers, that's even better, but this is within reason. Now, here, we're seeing that a lot of institutions are buying. There's a lot less selling going on, right? There's 1.12 billion bought, and then only 69 million have been sold. It's just not making sense. And then the analysis ratings are actually pushing it down. I would love to see your thoughts on that as well. As an investor, where do you see this going? What do you think? And if you agree with me about the $38, I think personally, if $38 gets broken through, I don't know how far down it can go down, but it will start to pull some pressure in the downward direction. And then that's where you'll have to watch all these other support levels that I'll talk about if we get to that point. And what really makes sense to me is that then it would end up probably somewhere within this area right here, and it would be around that point before this upward trend. So it would be about these lows down here of 25 and like highs of probably around $35, $34, or maybe even down here at 32 to 25 to kind of narrow it down. But I think that's where it would end up. We would have to see, but $38 hasn't been broken through. We haven't gone there, but if these analyses are correct, CNN is way up in the upward trend. This one that's a little bit more conservative is throwing it, just saying the low end at $30. And then these guys are just destroying the chart, saying 28, which is still within reason if it was to go in that direction. But they're saying that for the next 12 months. I think that if there was to be a pullback, it would be temporary. It wouldn't be a pullback that's going to last for a whole year, because they're basically saying, this is going to pull back over time, and by 12 months from now it'll be sitting at $28. That's like kind of not within reason, in my opinion, with everything that NIO has been doing. And explosive growth, I mean, is good, and a pullback is healthy, but also when you look over at this whole entire chart, there's almost like some of these numbers are kind of hard to hold up if they actually break through them, right? If they break through these points. So I want every single investor to be aware, and I mean, make your own rational decisions based off of your due diligence and research. But all these analyses are pointing to different directions. CNN is pretty wild with their analysis. I mean, some people will say I agree with them. They make sense. What they're saying does make sense, and that you're completely wrong, and that's fine. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with the fact that people, have a different perspective. My perspective is not the only one that exists, but we need to be mindful of these numbers and what they mean, right? So let's see here. We're in this sideways movement. I want every single investor to be aware of this resistance. 45.34, super important resistance. That's the highest point from yesterday before these falls. Super important. So we're going to look at our highest point here from yesterday, and we're going to look at our 50-day moving average. So the 50-day moving average is 43.24. I'd write that down, and that point will let us know on what side of the chart we're in. If we're below it, we're in bearish territory. If we're above it, we're in bullish territory. So our support down here is 41.25. If that gets broken through, I'd pay very close attention to how this stock is reacting. How quickly is it moving to newer lows? And then we got another support before $38, and that's down here at 40.87. I'd write that down. 40.87. That is the next support before working down to the $39, $40 range up here. But then you have your 38, which is the lowest point we've seen way back on the upward trend. But before getting to any of those numbers, 41.25 right now is the most important support level to pay very close attention to. And if that gets broken through, we need to watch this closely. How quickly is it moving to newer lows? And how is it moving further away from the 50-day moving average? And are the bulls trying to reappear, right? That's the most important thing. Are the bulls trying to reappear to stop this from going down? Or are they actually reappearing and building momentum? So on the other hand, we have our resistance. That's 43.60. That needs to be broken through by the bulls. They need to break through the 50-day moving average, but once they accomplish that, to get back into bullish territory, they need to break through this resistance to pull away from it and get deeper into bullish territory. That's 43.60. That needs to be turned into a support so that the bulls can work their way up to newer highs and new resistance levels. Based off the chart so far, there is some slight of form of consolidation here, kind of, if you want to call it, because it's been holding itself up, moving up and down. We need to see if the bulls can reappear and bring this back up, even if the bears were to bring it back down and kind of just stay leveled off. But if this slightly comes back up and misses resistance, and it might even touch the 50-day moving average or miss it by a little bit, and then it gets pulled right back down below support and sees newer lows, and then does that upward movement again like I drew earlier, which is almost like it blinds you to where the stock is really going. And if you don't zoom out, you won't notice that this is going downwards. And that's what we need to watch for, because this subtle downward movement is making big impacts on everyone's portfolio. So you want to watch this. You want to be careful with it and take it all into consideration. And I want to ask if you guys think that this hits those lows of $30 and $28, $25. Do you guys think that's a discount, or do you guys think that that is a point that will actually be kind of hard to recover from for quite some time? I also want to ask, what do you guys think about CNN Money's price targets? I think they're pretty wild, but some of you might agree with them. I would love to see your guys' thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community. And don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watched this video. Thank you guys so much for watching.